Greetings traders, this is Mohan here, and this is the second tape, part 2 of the new volume momentum indicator, otherwise known as VOLMO. VOLMO is an amazing, accurate indicator. If you watch the first detailed video on a plain white chart, which is shown here, I'm now going to show you the value of using the VOLMO for Boomerang Day Trader, for those of you who are Boomerang Day Traders, and we got thousands of them, and I want you to know that I designed this for us as Boomerang Traders, but it works for anybody who wants to purchase this indicator. You can use it on plain chart, but you do need NinjaTrader to use this indicator. So I'm going to use the exact same session we just went over. If you recall, there was that pop there on the week volume. Remember, I showed you how the key volume momentum line, the thicker line here, had pulled down under, in pre-market, under the zero line here, which is a really important line to watch. This zero, it's black on the white chart and white on the black chart. So remember, I said this is a sign that this initial pop here will probably reverse and turn back lower. Well, here it is on Boomerang. You can see now the histograms come down under here. You get the matching momentum bands here. And here's your Boomerang trade coming in right here. Now I've got these synced so you can watch them on both charts. So I'll just track it in the Boomerang chart. You can see. So I've got that coming in now with that volume surging down here. Not hitting the full surge level yet, so you don't have to watch for a reversal. But here's the Boomerang chart setting up right here for a short at 50 quarter. As that volume starts moving lower, you can see everything's continuing to be on the cross under side here. See this cross under here, and everything's matte. These exact same chart, or the VOLMO indicator is the exact same, just on a black chart. I've used yellow lines here instead of orange, and that's the only difference, and a white zero line up here. And there's your Boomerang trade, and down they come. Now what's advantage of this is while you're in the Boomerang trade, obviously anytime you put on a trade you're going to be a little nervous. The volume momentum indicator here lets you know you're on the right side and that pressure is on the downside. And as they start coming down and banging down in this orange line or below, you'll know that the move may be coming close to getting exhausted. And then they go down and hit the exact exhaustion line here at the 60 level line. You see that down here, and that's where the trade actually bottoms out completely. But while you're in this trade, we're just looking on the Boomerang system to scalp for 3 points, but the volume momentum indicator will help you look to scalp for larger scale moves if that's your goal. You can see 50 half was the short on that yellow dot. Here's 45. Here's a 5-point move. And if you're a brave soul and you want to hold for a little bit more, here's a move down to 42 as that volume punches down there, reverses a little, and that's because they came down and hit this double tap this orange line. So that's a little minor exhaustion. They reverse a little and they come down and surge, and that's the bottom. But ideally you would have got out somewhere in here and scalped that 3 to 5 point move. That's the goal of the trade. Let's forward this up here. Again, a choppy period as they try to continue lower. And you can see this was when we discussed in the first tape. That was that choppy period. And on Boomerang, it's clearly outlined as the dynamic trend bands are still under each other. It's kind of a choppy up period. You can see the green candles and the new buy channel and everything, but the volume momentum indicator is going to tell you be a little careful here, because the key indicator down here is still under the zero line. Very weak histograms tending to move under the zero line, even though there's still some buy volume coming in because they're green. They're tending to hold under the zero line as well as the two momentum indicator lines. You see that? So there goes that lower move again, which is what we again talked on the first one. So now with all this choppiness, they're trying to find some kind of bottom here, right? So we're just waiting for the turnaround anyway. We don't care. We want to take the lower risk trades. So now you can see they're starting to get right in here. We're starting to get a volume reversal here on this green histogram right here where I'm shaking the cursor there. and they start to pull up. They tap the Bollinger Band. That's one of the rules of Boomerang. The histogram is now on the zero line, the positive side of the zero line, and the matching histogram, or I'm sorry, the matching momentum lines are their matching color, telling you also we're getting ready for a volume push higher of some sort. We don't know exactly how much until we get a crossover here of the key momentum line here. That's this thicker line above the zero line. That's where it's a lot stronger. Anyway, so right in here, there's that pullback to the sig line with the Boomerang system setting up the matching dynamic trend bands. The prices surge, and again, you get that pop over the yellow line, then you get a second pop over the yellow line, a sign of minor exhaustion, which ends up they pulled back. You can eventually develop a system, which I do in my personal trading, where if you see that double tap, you can scalp a reversal for a couple points in some cases. Got to be fast, you got to know what you're doing, but in the training classes I'll show you how to do that. Now, as the momentum, notice this, as the momentum line crosses above the zero line, now notice the color though, it is magenta, but it is crossing above the zero line. That pullback, that tells you that buying that pullback is going to be okay. You see, that's what it tells you. Not to worry, it's a minor dip. Buying that pullback is going to work out, and then they shoot up again. Again, double tapping the yellow line. But then you see the volume starting to falter on this candle right here, which was the exact top. So they push up, double tap the yellow line, they start faltering here. Then you get a red volume histogram here, and you can see right from this point, that's where the volume started tapering off with the matching momentum indicators here. See that? And down they go. And this was that long move that we talked about earlier. Boomerangs matching it all with the dynamic trend bands, the Cobra, all the tools of Boomerang. And again, we went over this, but I'm just showing you how it looks on a Boomerang chart. This is buy volume coming in. It doesn't mean it's a reversal necessary, but it's just showing you that that bottom is starting to get a little tired. As the buyers start coming in, you got the momentum shifting to more of a bullish momentum. So what this does tell you, if you're a real fast scalper, is it starts telling you you can buy these dips coming in here, and they're most likely going to pop because of that shift in the volume. No other indicator, I promise you this, 30 years in the industry, no other indicator is going to tell you this information. Only the volume can tell you this information. Only the volume can tell you that more buying volume is starting to roll in on this. So once you have that information, you can be confident buying dips and scalping those. But because we're Boomerang traders, we're waiting for a shift in Boomerang. Here's the first histogram. They crossed over here. Here's the first momentum line crossing over the zero line, with the second line, the key line, shortly behind it, but still a little bit of a caution here until you get it right up on the zero line or crossing. You can buy that pullback on Boomerang there with the volume matching. Again, if you got the volume on your side, you're going to be in good shape on that trade in most cases. So going long there, 30 half, shot him up to 37. It was a real blast up there with 36 half. And then what happened? Right as they blasted, again, a double tap on the yellow line, telling you that might be a temporary volume surge that could fail. You've got, notice how you've got the key volume momentum line, this thicker one, holding under the 15 period line. Again, another key that surge might be a little weak. Then you get the bearish volume histogram coming in, and down they come. Now you can see, if you're a very fast and experienced trader, you can see how you can short that stuff, get in on a very early surge reversal. I never ever thought that I would release this indicator. So what I am doing, as I mentioned on the first tape, I'm only going to offer this to 50 traders, the first 50 traders, and it could happen very quick. After that, I'll take it off the market, and then I may release it again in the future. But for now, I'm only looking to offer this to 50 traders. So it's very important. And it's only $195. If I re-release it again, it'll probably be close to double that. You can see just a couple of these trades I've showed you on this one particular session would easily pay for that. It's really worth 20 times that price. This is easily a $2,000 valued indicator and much more, but I'm releasing it for a very low cost. Here's the prices matching. You can see right here the histogram coming down. The key the histograms are moving lower. The key volume momentum indicator, which is this thicker line crossing the zero line, a pullback to the signal line on Boomerang with all the other indicators in line, and down they go. See how that works? Looking at the Boomerang chart gives you an idea. Now notice what happened on this one. So all of a sudden they stage a quick reversal, and that was because we had what? That's right, we had two taps under the yellow line, even a surge all the way down here. Now again, this was that trade. That's why I use the exact chart showing Boomerang. There was this what I call a puke trade where the sellers just didn't have enough and they kind of puked out that price, and anybody who tried to get long too early there would have had a problem. But we were short in a Boomerang trade on this setup, and that we would have scalped those 3 points here, but that would have helped us if you held on a little longer. But once you saw you got short in this and you saw that zip down here, see that move there from, it went from 26 and dropped them right down to 21, but you saw that momentum peaking on the volume there. Most of the time you got to get out of those because that's a trade that's already moved. Obviously they went further, but then we went in and used our other tools, which was watching to see the histograms kind of averaging up above this 15 period line and watching the matching momentum lines change to the bicolor, and then up they go. Well, what happened here is right off the new Boomerang channel, they surged to this level. So all it tells you to do is don't go getting long right there up at the top of this, fat channel formed from these surging histogram or candles, but just wait for a little better price. You can monitor this price, which ended up working out for 3 points, but just get a better price. Get a little discount here. You got the dynamic trend bands matching and crossing over everything here. So that's where you can go ahead and just buy them here on this little slight pullback discount down into the dynamic trend band number 1 or the Cobra down in here, and just keep your eye on the volume. And you can see as they're pushing back higher, you got to be careful here because again you're getting these triple taps in the yellow line. It's kind of a flaky move. You're seeing the histogram, or I'm sorry, the bias line number 2 here, this real key thicker line, is kind of holding right around the yellow line. It's kind of a flaky move, and you can see the choppiness here. That just tells you take your points off and get out. If you got long, say at the Cobra, you already scalped your 3 points on a move up to 33, 3 or more points. But right in here, you can look at the chart pattern. You can say, what's the volume doing? You go, it looks a little flaky because we're getting some spurts of selling volume coming in and all that. And then everything changes colors here. You see the matching colors right here, and down they go. You get another Boomerang trade, and you can see the rest here. It's just rinsing and repeating over and over. They start hitting the extended levels. They turn up again following the Boomerang chart pattern. Here's the volume coming in back on the buy side. Everything's matching the color. You get the first level up over the first momentum line crossing over the zero line. Get the second one up there. You buy that pullback to the zero line. See how just that one alone, watching this key momentum line to cross over the zero line, pull back the sig line, you can have a lot of confidence in your Boomerang trades, which I know you do anyway, but this is just an additional tool. And then same thing, that double tap on that yellow line, be a little careful. Sure, they can keep going, but just be a little bit careful. So that's the video showing you the Boomerang setups here. You can refer to the first video for the setups on the white chart here. So thanks again for joining with us. Again, just a reminder, we're only going to be selling 50 copies of these. It'll go very quickly, probably within the first week or two. Make sure and book yours here with the link you see on this page making you this offering. And thanks very much for joining with us.